The following footage is from Modern Day Debates in September of 2022.
Hi, my name's KarenB, and I'm here to say that the Earth is flat. Why do I think the Earth is flat? Well, because I participated in 2 independent measurements, direct measurements of the Earth for curvature, and both times curvature was not measured. Once over the Lake Balaton in Hungary, which is the largest landlocked lake over there in Europe. And also we did a measurement of Earth's curvature in Denver, Colorado, using survey equipment over land. And that also showed no trend for Earth curvature in either direction. Also, I remember visibly seeing the Farallon Islands from San Francisco, the coast of San Francisco, and they're about 30 miles away from the coast of San Francisco, and they're not even more than 110 feet tall, so you shouldn't be able to see them all. They should be behind the curvature, yet you can see them on a clear day. And so that is why I think the Earth is flat.
Time out. Let's talk about this. Her opening statement was really short because this is actually part of a 2-on-2 debate with her battle buddy being Austin Whitsitt. And they have 5 minutes that they have to share. Take a look at her statements, though. This is 3 reasons why she believes that the Earth is flat. Nothing more. No straw manning, no hostility. It's just, I've got these 3 cards and I'm ready to play them.
Whitsitt.
Okay, yeah. So I always point out that really the main critique is everyone says, you guys think the Earth's flat, where's your model? Answer all these questions. What exactly is going on? Blah, blah, blah. And I consider that to be a very dishonest way to go about this because there's a positive claim on the table that we were all taught, and that's that the Earth's a ball with a certain size and very specific claims. So if you want to be honest and look into it, you need to just see if that claim is true before you get ahead of yourself and you're like, well, how would all this other stuff work? We need to figure out if that's true. And like KarenB said, I have similar experiences. I went around the whole US doing the same thing. So we've done laser tests, we've done mirror flashes, we've done long distance observations. We have some observations where you see mountains from hundreds of miles away. Globe position is that it's just an illusion. It's not really there, but it clearly is. We're sitting there seeing what it is, where it is. So anyway, there's just no actual evidence when you look into it that the Earth is a spinning ball. And so...
Okay, that's just smack talk now. Evidence is just a reason to believe that something might be so. The girl's head felt warm, therefore she might have a fever. If there was no evidence for a globe, then no one would believe in the globe. So, not really my favorite argument, but we'll continue.
An honest position, now what the critique will be is, they're just detaching themselves from the burden of proof, or they don't want to answer the questions or whatever. But again, an intellectually honest position is, well, if we're claiming this is exactly what the Earth is, a spinning ball with a certain size, we need to figure out if that's true. That's the first step. Then we can go trying to figure it out, right? Flat's not a shape, it's a description of a surface. So long story short, there's tons of evidence that debunks what they claim, and we can see that the Earth is provably and measurably a topographical plane. We're not allowed to freely explore the whole Earth, so we don't have to know exactly what the Earth is. We don't have to know what all is on the Earth. That's kind of ridiculous, So in summary, we just need actual empirical verifiable evidence of this alleged curvature, this alleged spin and revolution, and this alleged vacuum. None of that exists. And all evidence shows us that the Earth's a stationary topographical plane, which means it's geocentric in the center of all things. And we're still waiting for this proof of this alleged curvature and spin. So that's kind of the problem. We falsify what they told us. It isn't true. And we're waiting for empirical evidence void of begging the question fallacies. So there you go.
So he's saying that all of the tests he's ever done trying to prove curvature showed a lack thereof. There is no curvature, the Earth is flat. And then he challenged the opposing team to play a card showing some kind of curvature. What tests show that there's curvature? That's all it really comes down to. Now here's Amy speaking on behalf of the Globe.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amy Newman. I create skeptic content along with my co-host James W. at youtube.com/Amy Newman, as I am a comedian, counter-apologist, and multimedia enthusiast with degrees in graphic design, game development, film and motion graphics with a specialization in visual effects education, and information technology, which is what makes topics like the flat versus globe so much fun, because there are videos, live feeds from the International Space Station 24/7, 365 of the Earth being round from space.
Okay, she believes that the Earth is a globe because NASA says so. And their footage qualifies as evidence. For me, it's not really convincing evidence, but for her, that's a reason why she believes that the Earth is a globe. She has a lot more to her opening statement, providing a lot more reasons why she believes that the Earth is a globe, going over 5 minutes to say all that. Then her battle buddy got his own 5 minutes to put down even more cards. This is called shotgun argumentation or gish galloping. So when the open discussion starts, there's just cards flying all over the place, and it's a mad seize for power to try and control the conversation and say, address my claims. Rather than going all over the place though, let's just focus on Karen's claims. They finally start talking about that after about 30 minutes of open discussion.
All right.
The physical universe is anything that we are able to interact with. That's why we don't seem to get any experiments from the flat earth side. In fact, both of them said that they went out, they did the experiments themselves. However, as far as I can tell, neither of them published papers, and so there is nothing to be added to the scientific community. And as long as they put, how they got their results, their methodology, other people can then do the same thing.
That really isn't a counter argument. I've got 5 fingers on my left hand. Do I need peer-reviewed papers to prove that is true? No.
There is a paper published, actually, a very long paper. It's over 100 pages long PDF that has been published by the group of people that I did the measurements with. I didn't call them experiments. They were actually direct measurements of the Earth's surface to try to measure the Earth for curvature, because they do give us a given size of the Earth, which is the radius of 3959, which you could then, from that, you can, go do basic geometry and extrapolate the numbers, and then you should know how much curvature you should see from one point to another. And every time we did measurements, we did not measure any curvature at all.
And what journal was this published in, if I ask?
It wasn't published in a journal, because you're not going to publish in a scientific, mainstream scientific journal something that debunks everything that they try to push.
Beware the no true Scotsman fallacy. No true Scot puts sugar in their porridge. Something can still be peer review, even though it's not published in a journal. Peer review just means getting it out to your friends, your associates, asking other people for their opinion. Every time we make a video, put it out to the public and ask people what they think about it. That is peer review. Okay? Doesn't matter the media. It can be written, hand-typed, it can be pencil written, it can be on video. All of that. Doesn't matter. It's just a matter of getting out and talking to people, asking others what they think of things.
Yeah, so your argument is...
We did publish it ourselves, but we did publish it ourselves, and it is available for public viewing, and I can give it to you right now.
Engineers, yeah, it's done by a group of engineers, and it's in-depth documentation of all the tools, all the methodologies, all the data, all the refractive conditions.
7 different measurements. Yes, 7 different measurements.
Apparently, the rest of the scientists don't think it was good methodology.
Can you name one that
I haven't seen it.
Taylor over there is now just assuming things. He really has no idea who has seen that paper and how they have responded to that.
You can also find this published
you need
at
to do that.
www.thisisdefinitely.science.blogspot.com.
Now Amy's just trying to make fun of her opponents. It's not refuting anything. Beware the genetic fallacy, which is judging something as either good or bad on the basis of where it comes from or from whom it came. To say it can't be true because it's not written in a scientific journal is committing the genetic fallacy.
So all you guys are doing is just like, because you guys have no substantive value to your argument, so you're just appealing to consensus. You're like, oh, well, the mainstream didn't peer review it and say it was true, so therefore it's not. You're just trying to gaslight us. That's all you're doing. You're gaslighting us for the audience to pretend that somehow, since you have the majority of people on your side, that means you're right.
That one's called the ad populum, or bandwagon fallacy.
So how am I supposed to tell the difference between you actually being right and all of us being wrong, and all the experts being wrong, and you just teaming up with some people and saying, I know a guy who said it wasn't round?
When did they say, I know a guy who said it wasn't round? Their entire opening argument from the beginning was, I made first-hand observations.
How am I supposed to tell the difference?
Do you know what strawman fallacies are? Because it's like the most dishonest fallacy that one can use in a debate, where no one made any of those claims that you're saying. We didn't say that some guy told us and therefore one guy told us so the earth is flat. No, we said you can go out and physically prove via empirical, replicatable demonstrations, measurements, and experiments that falsify the claim of the globe earth model. That's what we're actually saying. So everything you're saying is a non sequitur, bro. You're just making up strawman fallacies. It's lame.
No, how am I supposed to know the difference? Because I know of several ways to measure the curvature.
Name one.
And you just call them CGI.
Name one.
Pictures, looking at lakes that curve with your eyes.
Pictures measure the earth.
Looking at the stars, which can't spin in opposite directions unless you're on literally anything but a flat surface.
None of those things measure the earth.
They do.
Hey, can I share the screen?
No, they don't. All you can do with the lights in the sky is observe them. You can't use them as a form of measurement.
The conversation then diverts away and they start talking about all kinds of other stuff that has nothing to do with the topic at hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, they do not have anything but cartoons and CGI that they create. Meanwhile, we have actual photos and
I have measurements. I put a link in the chat here to the measurement, measurement PDF if you want to read it. Be my guest.
I also
and there are measurements of the curve.
There aren't.
It's measurements of a lack.
Yeah, there are.
Okay, what are the measurements of curve, Taylor?
So if you have measurements of curve and you have measurements of no curve, what does that mean?
What are the measurements of curve, Taylor?
I've already been over this.
Name one.
I'm responding to Karen because you cut in while I was responding to her.
Oh, you can't answer.
And I've already answered your question, so I'm not going to waste any more time on that.
You can't answer.
I did. So we expect that there would be flat parts on a giant globe.
We do?
And then, yeah. Because it's so large that the curve is so gradual that some parts are going to appear flat. This is
disco
flat.
ball.
And
It's a golf ball.
Okay.
So I don't measure curvature on this, but if I increase the distance, I'm going to start measuring curvature.
It's not a ball. I hope not. I mean, whatever.
This is interesting because Taylor is not really trying to argue against those observations that Austin and Karen made. He's just trying to welcome them and say those observations are possible on a globe somehow with refraction. Those just happen to coincidentally line up perfectly with the globe.
We're on a ball though.
Because we have to be. Sorry, just saying that isn't enough to convince us that we are on a ball.
That's what
Flat things on a ball.
No, we're not on a ball. I didn't measure curvature at all whatsoever anytime I ever tried. There's literally dozens of measurements that show that there's no curvature. So why would we show lack of curvature? Long distance, the long distance photo. Mount Canigou in France. It debunks the globe.
because
literally impossible. Are you going to tell me that refraction? Oh, okay, refraction. Refraction does not bend light around the Earth curve. Okay, like the curve of a ball.
Yes, it does.
No,
3 miles in the air, Taylor. Like, this is the thing. You don't
talking
even
about
know the
hundreds of
specifics at all.
miles.
You're just making it. You don't know the specifics of the conditions. You don't know the specifics of anything. You're just saying the word you have to say in response to every observation. And the truth is, we know way more. I guarantee you, I know way more about your claim about refraction than you will ever know. I know all about it. You just say the word. And the truth is, just so the audience knows what we're talking about, we saw mountains from over 250 miles away. And the Globe Earth says they should be blocked by 3 miles of Earth curvature. And yet we saw we saw all miles of the missing curvature, all the mountains. We saw the shoreline of the mountains. And they just say, oh, well, it looks exactly like the mountains, but it's just an illusion. And actually, the mountains aren't there. They got optically lifted up 3 miles in the air. So cool story. You can just say a word.
Refraction is a confirmed phenomenon.
Yes, but it takes more than just saying refraction to convince us that that is what's allowing us to see so far.
Doesn't mean it's doing what you're claiming it's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also want to go back to this graphic design equals I have experience in CGI thing.
And Amy's changing the subject again. I'll go ahead and skip it forward a few minutes to where they actually come back to the subject.
Okay, continuing. No physicist that is writing papers, and when we ask them to present papers, they say, well, they won't accept our papers.
No physicist? Have you really gone out and spoken to all of them? I don't think so.
Speaking of light,
my mind
can
is
I ask
blown.
you guys
Wow.
if you have done the shadow experiments that they've been doing for thousands of years, that Eratosthenes and
That literally
Aristotle
proves
were
nothing. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson says it can be duplicated with a small local light over a flat surface.
So that's a no?
There was a famous experiment conducted by Eratosthenes. Eratosthenes.
How can we use this observation to see if Earth's surface is curved? We needed another well. Turns out we can't see the bottom of both wells at the same time. What might explain this? Well, there are 2 possible explanations. First, we could have a flat Earth with the sun that's small and close by, so that the light hits the second well at an angle. Or second, we could have a curved Earth with a sun that's big and far away.
You can do it with a flat surface and a small local light.
Yeah.
So that
it
should
can
be easily
replicated 2
confirmable.
different ways.
That's a no.
That could be easily confirmable. How's your research going to go visit the small local sun?
We don't claim you can fly a plane into the sun. We can't go there. Our model specifically says that the sun and the moon are in the firmament of heaven. Okay, they're in heaven. We can't go there. There's a big barrier in the way.
To go visit the small local sun.
Yeah.
Your guys' questions are...
These effects.
Why do you think that anybody can
you'll
visit the sun?
never
I don't
do the
even claim
research.
that anybody can visit the sun. I never claimed
you'll never
anybody
do
can
the
visit
research.
the sun.
We have done the research.
What do you mean? I've been
Hey,
researching for 7
Taylor,
years.
Just remember, we are the ones who build our foundation on doing our own tests and making our own observations. I think we've heard enough from you. Let's move on to the closing statements.
I measured for Earth curvature myself. I've seen it with my own eyes. So I suggest that what you do is you go get a laser, you go get somebody else to help you out and go do those long distance observations yourself. And then you decide whether or not you're seeing light bend around the curve. And also maybe you should study refraction and know that light does bend towards a denser medium and that you get different densities depending on the temperature of the water versus the air above it. If the water is cooler than the air temperature above the water, or the air temperature is cooler than the temperature of the water, you're going to get different light bending in all kinds of different ways. So remember that next time. And Earth is flat.
You got it, Amy?
Thank you so very much. The Earth is round. We have known this for thousands of years. I wish I could even pin this solely on religion, but Christian medieval theologians knew and recorded that the Earth was spherical and kept it going all the way up until the Enlightenment. So we have known that the Earth is round. We have been able to prove it through not only natural philosophy, but through science. Scientists have known that the world is round through empirical means. We have not only video evidence, but multiple ways that you can do the experiments yourself. I do want to thank Taylor for being my debate partner. Witsit and Karen, as spicy as I've been, I really do love everyone, so sending love to them. And of course, James, for being an awesome mod. And if you guys haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, then what are you doing?
Okay, that's it. No actual refutations to any of Karen's observations. If you want to see Karen's laser test results, you can check him out on our channel, KarenB.